Happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine Wednesday. Here we are. Welcome, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club. My Carl's Wine Club members across the country. Welcome. Welcome. You like that sound, right? You like that sound?
Yeah,
welcome to Wine Wednesday.
To pop that cork off. Yeah.
Just pop that bad boy out. So just give me 1 second here. My volume is not appropriate here. There you go. Now I can hear you all. Perfect. Yeah.
So lots of things this Wine Wednesday.
Oh my God, so many things.
So many things.
I'll let you start. And I'll take over whenever. But yes, we're excited. I know you are excited. I am thrilled. We just got back from the epic trip from Niagara. I mean, there's so much going on in the world of Carl's Wine Club, in the world of Canadian wines in general. Mira Boucher, happy Wine Wednesday. How are you doing?
You too, Carl Boucher. Happy Wine Wednesday. I'm doing great. You know, what do we want to talk about for Wine Wednesday? I mean, there's our recent trip to Niagara, which I gotta say, I got lots of cool pictures to share for those that could be there and couldn't be there. It's going to be awesome to chat about that. And we're going to chat about De Silva for sure, because in a few minutes, I think Richard De Silva himself is going to be on the show with us to give us an update from the winery about what's happened there, because there's some pretty crazy, tragic images coming out of De Silva, one of our member favorites. They were our Members' Choice Winery of the Year last year, right? And so we are actually featuring them, and all the way up to September 15th, if you order De Silva through Carl's Wine Club, we will personally pack it up for you and make sure it gets to you. And there's free shipping opportunities and exclusive wines and all that kind of stuff. So we can't wait. I mean,
there's so many things about De Silva, right? It's not only our Members' Choice Award last year. I mean, these are personal friends. These are amazing people. These are someone who knows the terroir of the Okanagan, like at the highest level. It's the best restaurant in the Okanagan. They make some of the best wine in the Okanagan. I mean, it's just stacking up. And not only that we love them, but our members voted them our Winery of the Year last year. So, I mean, there's a natural thing here. And when it was time to step up and do something for our friends, colleague, and beloved the De Silva wines, I mean, it was just a natural thing to do for us, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And then once we've chatted with Richard De Silva, once we've chatted about Niagara, we also have 3 wines to blind taste.
I mean, that's the new hot things, right? We were in Niagara, and people who were with us, they say that they're watching the show on a regular basis, and they say it's becoming one of their favorite things. So, I mean...
And then we also have 3 wines to not blind taste. So we have 6 wines open that we can actively tell you about right away. Which wines do you have open up there?
So I have Riverstone Merlot. That's something that we tasted last night. And I mean, we were disappointed because we had Riverstone Merlot in Niagara. We couldn't taste it. The new Cornerstone, it didn't travel well. Something happened with the bottle. But now when we came back, we had the Merlot, the 2020 Merlot last night with our flank steak. And holy moly! Talking about a good Merlot, they was freaking outstanding. So I have it open. I want to talk about it because we want to tag that conversation about September 21st, our Winery of the Year 2023, the succession, the winery who took over De Silva as Carl's Wine Club favorite for 2024. So we're going to do our party there on September 21st. So that's what I want to talk about, because we had another chat with Riverstone this week, and they were pretty excited to host us. So we're going to talk about a little bit more about that. I also have one of my very favorite, and the wine that we serve at the Pan Canadian 2.0 This summer, June 15 at Hester Creek, it was the Silva Fumé Blanc 2022. One of the wine who was a real hit during the Pan Canadian. So we have that in the feature this week with our members. So I have it open right now so we can chat about it a little bit more. But one of my very favorite. And I spoke with Twyla earlier this afternoon. You know that the Chenin Blanc and the Cor de Rosa, they're going to be off their website in the next couple of days. There's barely nothing left. So what's left?
Cor de Rosa has been off, I think, for a while. I don't.
Oh yeah, it's already off. Like we just have the last couple cases for us, and the same Chenin Blanc, the 22 Chenin Blanc, it's almost completely out. So if some of our members want some, it's the last chance with Carl's Wine Club offering. But that, so we're gonna taste that Sauvignon Blanc, that Fumé Blanc as well. So yeah, I have that. Also, we have a Pinot Noir from the Silva, the new 2021 that I've tasted earlier this year. So an exciting show. I have 3 wines in front of me that I don't know what is it. So it's pretty exciting.
Yes, very good, very good. Which wine do you want to talk about first? Do you want to do one of the blind tastes real quick before Richard shows up on our live here? Do we want to chat about one of the wines? You know what they are?
I mean,
what do you guys want? If you're listening, let us know. Blind taste first, or do we want to?
How about we start with the Silva? How about that?
Yeah, sure.
We'll start with the Silva. We'll do the blind taste after Richard, and after that, we'll do Bachelor and Riverstone and a little bit of everything else. How about that? Does it work for you?
Works for me.
Well, it's for you. So let's start with the Silva offer. How about Mira? You tell us a little bit more how, or do you want me to talk and you bring pictures on, or do you want to let us know how these things unfolded for us? Like, I mean, we heard about the tragedy. We heard what happened with Richard and Twyla, with the pictures. We had a chat with them. We went back and forth, just make sure that we know, like we make sure that they're okay. And at some point, pretty quickly, we say, okay, we need to do something to help, right? I mean, it was just the right thing to do. Not to say the only thing to do is to support your friends and do whatever it takes to help them. And I mean, we have the tool to help people. In a sense, it's by offering our members, because not only us, but our members are also attached. So we decided to put an offer together and to offer Canadian wine lovers across the country the possibility to support the Silva in what they are going through. Should we go back and let people know exactly what happened? Or do we assume that everyone knows exactly?
In a nutshell, if you guys didn't hear, the water main for the agricultural line in Penticton broke right in front of the Silva Winery. I mean, what the heck are the odds? And so what that means is like huge amounts of water went under the winery. But I think we should wait till Richard comes on so we can hear it from the horse's mouth exactly how it unfolded. And there is some good news at the end there. I think they might be able to sort of provisionally reopen very soon, which is very exciting. But basically, for the last 2.5 weeks, De Silva has had to shut its doors completely unexpectedly in the middle of the busiest time of year for a winery in the Okanagan. Really crappy. So we're thrilled with the amount of support members have put forward. If you've been thinking of ordering De Silva wine, now is the time. If you've been thinking of trying them, now's the time. And Carl and I will personally deliver it to you if you're in the Okanagan for free. So that's kind of a bonus. Richard is just.
And I mean, before we move to Richard, Elaine is asking because they're traveling soon and if they can delay their shipping order to delay the shipping to their house. Absolutely, Elaine. I just had a couple of other texts today about that. Absolutely. We're going to hold on to your order until you come back, and we're going to send you your order only when you're back and it's safe to be shipped. So don't worry about that. there's a little column in the order where you can put your notes, but I already know that you need that. So when I get your order, I can connect with you and you can let me know exactly when you would like your order to arrive to the St. David's Bench in Ontario, because I had the privilege to drive you home, pick you up and drive you home from the bat shelter. Oh no, it's not that Elaine. Is it that Elaine? Maybe not.
I think so.
Yeah, anyway. So yeah, perfect. So yes, it is possible to delay the delivery. I think that we have the man, the myth, the legend with us right now. Here.
Richard De Silva himself. We can't wait to hear from you, Richard. Let's bring him on. Woohoo! Hey, Richard.
Hi, guys.
Richard, how's it going, man?
It's going.
It's going, eh? I mean, wow, what a whirlwind of a 2.5 week, 3 weeks you just had, my man.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, that's for sure. It's been I don't know. It's kind of a bit of a blur and a bit of shell shock, but I think we're ready to kind of decompress a little bit, I think is the hope anyway.
Yeah, no. So let's recap a little bit. So we were scheduled to travel together. Last week, we had some great plan to have fun in Ontario and to see our counterparts in Ontario. But unfortunately, 10 days before the trip, you were standing on the crush pad on a Saturday afternoon and the ground starting to wave or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was one of those things that everyone is always, mortally afraid of, the water coming from somewhere. But it became quite obvious it was not just water coming from somewhere. It was a serious situation where things started to escalate very quickly. So we had, for those that know, we had a major water break, and I think a lot of those that have home policies, or those of your guests, should really review your policies with your brokers. Really pull them to task. We were left here basically at this point without insurance coverage, both from our insurer and the city of Penticton, due to an exclusion. Yeah, the photo you see there is from, that's the aftermath in the back of the crush pad that you were showing. But this water main that I'm standing over right now, that sinkhole didn't show up until like almost 2 hours later. Our calculation is on the 14-inch main that was there, 240 PSI. We're talking almost 5 million liters of water went underground away from me, underneath our building, in an abandoned old irrigation system from the 30s or 40s, we believe.
Richard, you mentioned 5 million liters of water. Did I heard you correctly? 5 million liters?
The calculation is 30 to 40,000 liters a minute. If that, from a rupture like that, it could be less if it was not a fully exposed as a 4-foot split in the pipe. So, but what's a million liters here and there, I guess, in the scheme of things. So, but what was amazing to me is that that infrastructure wasn't even known to us. So it came up underneath our building, directly under the back edge of where our building ended, our crush pad started, and it blew a massive hole. Yeah, so the complete opposite other side of the building from this hole, there was an underground pipe abandoned in the 30s or 40s, a 30-inch concrete pipe. So you see the little green machine there, just to the left, underneath the corner of that wall there, you can see a bit of a white pipe there. So underneath that, about 3 feet, was an abandoned concrete vault that this water came and just completely blew apart the back of our building. So yeah, it's been a challenge. So yeah, all of you, a piece of public announcement here to all of your guests, please ask your broker for the exclusions to your policy. Really important, and get that wording down, because my wife and I, if it wasn't for the amazing generosity of so many people and friends of ours and contractors in town that have stepped up and able for us to start to open tomorrow.
That's good
you know,
news. That's good.
In under 3 weeks, we would have been wiped out. Like literally our business would have been with the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year. That pads us, considering the situation we faced with the winter kill and replanting. We haven't even got insurance back from that situation. We were on fumes. So, tie that on top of an event like this where you're completely locked down and your business is completely shuttered. Like we had to close the kitchen. All of our staff that were laid off. There's a lot of collateral damage that these things cause. So I'm really grateful to so many people. Wally James from Buccaneer, I got to tell him online. Buccaneer Contracting in town, amazing. Jason Dole and Mitch and the guys from Peter Brothers here in town stepped up. Randy Gill also stepped up from Randy Gill's excavating company. We're there immediately with machines to help, get our irrigation to our vineyards, because it basically cut off all of our irrigation to our vineyard as well. So we had multiple perils that we were dealing with, including equipment. Like there's that one famous picture with our new press to us, suspended. You see the picture right there is over a sinkhole. That press there was a big void. Our garbage cans fell in there. It was about 5 or 6 feet down. And I think literally the gutter in the corner of that wall held up that press from falling into that pit. So yeah, I really want to shout to these people. People came up, you and Mira and Carl, you guys gave us a call and asked what you could do, and so many other people. Marcel, a good friend of ours from all the way from Ontario, and called me immediately to ask, if there's something he could do. And I said, well, unless you can fly with a shovel and a plane, you're pretty much.
But I want to get back to that Saturday afternoon. How did you realize that something wrong was happening? Like, was there any sign prior to the soil collapsing, or is anything like?
I'm glad you kind of added that, just like what the car shifting in the parking lot from the water rushing, pushing them around might have been my first clue, but yeah, no, it nothing. Like it just all of a sudden. I remember I was in where this tank you see here. There's our office door is right there. You guys have been through it several times. I was just coming off the field. I was on my tractor. I opened the door and there was literally a flood of water trying to get in. So it was just completely like I slammed the door shut. And I'm like, what was that? And then all of a sudden somebody from upstairs started yelling water. And then, yeah, it was just chaos from there. We were full restaurant. Parking lot was full. Tasting room was full. It was like a complete pack, 2:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday. Bad day. Like it was like one of our, it was looking like one of our top days. And then, boom. And then now people are, rushing and screaming, trying to get to their cars. There's ankle deep water and there's rubble, flying geysers coming out of different cracks in the pavement and around the building. It was just like, it looked like what's that hotel in Vegas with the water feature in it? I have my own version of that in my crush pad. It was like guys just pouring out of everything. So, yeah, I mean, it's what do you do? I mean, the first, the city didn't know. We were running around for almost 2 hours trying to find where this water was coming from, because that sinkhole hadn't appeared in the city. So we didn't even know how to turn it off. Like, we had no idea where this water was coming from. So the Bellagio, thank you. I just saw that comment. So, again, like my wife are eternally grateful for so many people that have helped out and stepped up for us. I'm you guys that know me, I'm always talking about moving forward. It's going to suck. It's going to be an extremely challenging winter for us this year with this going on. It's going to be, we don't get business disruption insurance with this because the peril is due to underground water, is what they're saying in the insurance policy, exclusion to underground water, which typically means a spring or seepage or underground river or something like that, they're using this clause to blanket cover, to deny us any coverage at the moment. And that includes our business loss for the last 2 weeks. So
and wait a minute, like business loss, we're talking also the busiest weekend of the season, the long weekend, Labor Day long weekend, where not only the tourists, but the real buyer, that's where the serious wine people come to wine country to stock up for wine. Like it's historically the busiest weekend and the most profitable weekend of the year.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Ah,
you know, Carl, you just learn to just kind of shrug and put your shoulders to it and move forward. And that's what we did. I mean, it's very, very, very disappointing. It's heartbreaking. I think, you know, my wife and I, you know, also lots of assistance from friends took on repairing this, but it's I don't know how some couple that starts out, you know, who don't have farm air sense, that knows how to fix things and repair things and drive a backhoe and do all this stuff, how you would even deal with that. I mean, it's like, but yeah, we, you know, you're really left abandoned and looking at a tragedy at the back of your building and not knowing where to start. Yeah, but you know what? You go to bed, you say, okay, let's get on with the show here. And you were here today. I just shared some photos with you on your phone this afternoon.
well, it's crazy. It's crazy. I can't wait to get to that but before we get to the reopening, because the picture you sent me, what I saw when I parked in your driveway this afternoon was like, what the fuck just happened? I mean, it went from a disaster to something like shining and ready to go. I mean, you guys did miracle. But before we get to that, I know how hard you worked this summer to replant, to plant a full vineyard across the street, literally across from the sinkhole. You spent 6 weeks piping, planting, and babysitting these little baby vines. So that's what came to my mind when I knew what was happening on this Saturday afternoon. I was like, is the new vineyard got flooded? What's the status of the new vineyard that you planted in June?
Yeah, I mean, eventually there was another piece of this intricate abandoned irrigation system did go across the field underground into that vineyard, and it eventually blew the plug that was plugging it, and water stopped coming to my place, and then into our new vineyard across the road on the other side. So it's like, oh, anyway, but the vines are I always say it with a bit of tongue in cheek. They're a weed. They'll grow almost anywhere. They're fairly resilient, and so we didn't get any. We got silts, but nothing choked out their plants. So I think we're fine. Sometimes you might get, depending on the nature of the material that was blown onto your field, you may get some nutrient deficiencies develop over time. At this point, I don't see any of that. So crossing my fingers, and yeah, I mean, it's you're getting shot from both sides of the road. You're like looking at one place on one side on the other side, and you're trying to put your thumb and plug the holes. And the sinking ship going on here. And yeah, even Twilight, I want to give a shout out to my wife for she for many years worked with the airline, and she's kind of not used to the Richie Gong show that exists here as a farmer. But my wife has been tremendously resolute and steadfast. She's been a rock, and I owe a lot to her. She was there, and I mean, she soldiered through, and you could see a bit of that resiliency now. Not a bit, lots of resiliency. You could just see her saying, "Yeah, we'll just keep marching ahead." And that is the farmer attitude that you roll up your sleeves and let's get on with the show. So
let's go on with the show. And I mean, Mira, can you pop up the new pictures that we that's showcased? Because
So speaking of Twyla and yourself, I mean, the both of you were there. When did we go, Carl? Sunday night?
Yeah, it happened on the Saturday. We were there on the Sunday night.
No. When did we go visit you guys when we got back from Niagara? Just 3 days ago, right? We were back.
No, Mira, we went. Yeah.
3 days ago?
We went before we left for Niagara.
Just before you left.
Just before we left. We were flying out on the Thursday. We went on the Tuesday.
Oh, okay. So this is a week and a few days. So let's say like 8 days ago.
8 days ago, yeah.
That's what we saw, right? So there's Twyla walking. That's the corner of your building. And then just this afternoon, this is what it looks like.
Wow, it's astonishing. It's crazy. So
I mean, you guys worked your tails off. That's crazy.
Yeah, the restaurant is open. I took a photo of, I know I sent it to Carl on his phone, but I showed a picture from the top of the deck and the view in the back parking lot from all of it was a complete piles of rubble back there and completely unusable. And I'm even for me, I was a bit amazed. I took a photo from the deck that I shared with Carl. There's our chef. Pressure washed the floors, a beautiful view, and then the next photo shows us the picture of the crush pad that only a week or two ago was completely, looked like a war zone. Yeah, I mean, from that photo to the photo I shared with you today, it's amazing. But yeah, I mean, we're super.
Did you repave? Is that repaved or is it?
So these sections, you see the sections here in front of the two windows and the back, just before the forklift there, those have been patched, and these guys did an amazing job. We went in there. I mean, you can see the pavement, and this is a great shot. The damage is still there. You can see the waves in the pavement. There's like pockets of water everywhere, and that's from the water flowing underneath there. But we've had numerous, equipment on there. We're fairly, confident with that. It just, unfortunately, the pavement's all buckled now. And, but we're like, it's better than, sure, it's not nice smooth pavement like I had before, but the show must go on. And we'll, originally when we first had the place, we had a small piece of pavement in the front. And every year we'd add a little pavement. For those that don't know, pavement is very expensive. Asphalt is not cheap. We would add a section and stitch a section every year. We just kept adding around the building to where, 2 weeks ago you had the whole place had asphalt. I looked at my wife and says, "Crap, we're starting all over again." So anyway,
well, not only you're starting all over again, but now you're expanding. I saw that this afternoon they were flattening a little piece of land across the street to expand the parking lot, or maybe to put some equipment on or something, an extension, right?
So the thing is, we need to be able to still. The crush pad is not going to be usable as a crush pad yet. We'll have to tear that out. Luckily, good friends of ours at Poplar Grove have offered their facility to do our crush this year and do our harvest. And we're going to do our bottling there. But the crush pad, we patched all the pavement in there enough to get forklift or pallet jacks back and forth. So we had access to the building and then the wine. And to take the wines over to Poplar Grove. And so it's usable for that. But yeah, we need a place to put the equipment. And I said, here's a piece of land. Instead of us paying a shipping company or moving company to move all this equipment, tanks and presses off the site somewhere, let's prep this site across the road. And then eventually when we're done storing the equipment there, it now becomes an overflow parking lot. And that just got finished today as well. So we'll be storing probably some equipment there in the meantime, but that will become a overflow parking for tour companies or for staff. And it's right across the street from the front door of our winery. So
perfect.
I remember when I was talking to the initial person who was here to help us with the site, I said, look, I'm always about doing something and having something to show for it afterwards. My farmer's, sense got kicked in and said, well, here's a piece of property. It's probably going to cost $10,000-$15,000, maybe more, to ship all our equipment to some warehouse somewhere and store it, where we can just use the place across the road. And then from that, I have a usable place to park vehicles later. So it's a win-win from that. But apparently our insurance company still doesn't see that as us trying to work in their favor. So we'll have to see them in court. That's
Exactly. But the question is, for the crush pad behind the winery, now it's unusable. Is it just because the ground, the soil is too soft and you cannot put equipment back on until you guys redo the whole back, or what's the
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can share photos here, but the thing is that it's smooth enough to run a pallet jack and run a forklift, but not enough. But it's pavement, soft pavement. We had a special aggregate made for us.
Okay, nice.
That could actually hold tanks, because our tanks, as those of you know, our tanks are outside. We do them over the winter. We cold stabilize it using nature, and then by spring they're in the bottle and they're barreling off the warehouse. Now we can't do that. That pavement that they have is what you use in residential areas, which is a lot of sand. It's quite soft. It has no structural strength to it. Great for a pallet jack or forklift, getting in and out of the building. You're driving your car and unloading wine cases. Your carts, your small stuff. But physically actually putting heavy equipment on it is not really possible. And we'd have to dig it all out, go down a foot or two, repack it with structural material, and then put that special layer on it so it's load bearing. So that'll have to wait. I mean, for right now, if you came to the winery and went out back, you probably, you wouldn't even know something had happened. A week ago, you'd be like, oh, everything looks great. But when you go back there, but this all this pavement is not structural. Like, it's not meant to really hold. You can already see a little tank that I have hiding on the corner there. So I'm already finding little bits and pieces to stash here and there.
Well, and obviously the tank is empty, right? There's no wine in the tank, because if it was full, it would go straight like it's gonna collapse, or
it would sink. Yeah, you would be. I think the key is that we're going to operate with that for now. I think it works, and I think to the public, it looks clean and shiny and looks perfect. But as far as operating it as the winery to do production, it just doesn't have that structural thing. The building, some people have been asking since they had this abandoned 30-inch pipe going out down the backside of my building. Thanks to Wally James from Buccaneer Contracting and a friend of mine, Chris Zachary, who has an engineering firm in Vancouver, we came up with a perfect plan to deal with that. We actually filled this massive concrete vault and pipe that ran literally along the whole edge of our building, and the building edge ran parallel, and so the building was right on top. And so we actually filled it with a special concrete mix that we all came up with a fiber mesh in it, and took 10 cubic yards of concrete. Like, it is massive.
Wow, 10 cubic yards.
It's
wow.
Now that we filled it up, we didn't see it come out of the end of the pipe, so it found any voids under the building or anything like that. It just kept filling up. Wow. And the good thing about this material is that once it sets, it's far stronger than the original material the place was built on. And the joke is at the winery now that will probably the building and I will be long gone before this corner of this building will ever disappear. And I helped build this section. We did it right. And this is to those of you that try to cut corners. Never cut corners on foundations and footings. Need to do that. We had, can you name the company so people can avoid? Yeah, Archer from Signature Wine. They do a lot of wineries and distilleries in the Okanagan, but Archer's from Toronto. They're the company. I have no problem. I mean, it's we don't know yet, so we're imminently going to know in the next day or two. But it's been 3 weeks, which is unheard of for them to tell if we have coverage or not. And I had one of their brokers say it doesn't look good, but I don't know. Like it's gone to their legal department. So I guess the calculus is if they take me to court, small winery, do we have the funds to fight them out in court and lose? The good thing is I do have a friend of mine recommended a great boutique firm in Vancouver that has stepped up and who wants to represent us if something happens. So Archer may be in for a bit of a surprise if we decide to go that route. I'm a feisty Portuguese, so don't.
Fuck yeah, you sure are. Absolutely.
Absolutely not going to take that. And the city, I think the city of Penticton, these infrastructure projects, it costs not just here, but for those of you from across the country, we're facing some serious aging infrastructure that is starting to fail, and we spend money on these feel good projects that are above ground and beautifying streets. It looks good on a brochure. Fixing a pipe underground that serves a quarter of the farming district in the Penticton area is not so sexy. And so you don't get to put a shiny pipe on a brochure and go, look at this nice pipe we put under the ground, 6 feet under the ground here, and brag about it. But and so that's why this stuff gets left behind. And there's a lot of that across the country, Calgary, Montreal, or was it Montreal or Toronto or somewhere? I mean, it was just.
And there was in Seattle, close to here, a number of years back, where a lot of homes got destroyed from that water main break. In that case, I think the city did. They said no, and then the councilors got together and they said, "There's no way we can leave all these people hooped like this." So they helped in some ways, but we
have some resource, some recourse. I think we'll have to go and fight the city and fight a bunch of other. It costs money, costs time. Meanwhile, we need to be open. We need cash flow, and these things may win in the end of the day. But in the meantime, our business and even just as importantly, our staff have no job. Mm-hmm. And so we've been very lucky to have staff with us for years. We offered and we've committed to paying all of our staff for the base rate of the hours they were scheduled for 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
Out of our pocket, with no with no compensation to us for it. But our staff means a lot to us, and we thought it was the right thing to do to cover their wage at least for a couple of weeks until we knew the scope of the disaster, so that we could figure it out. So.
Wow, this is incredible. So talking about cash flow and things, that's why Mira and I wanted to step up and bring some of our favorites wine that you make to our members across the country, and to explain the situation. And like in the last couple of days, lots of our members are stepping up also in ordering wines through us guys. So we're gonna have a pleasant surprise for you in the next couple of days when we're gonna go raid your warehouse, and we're gonna box it out here. We're gonna take care of all that so we can take that off your hands. But what we've done here, and Twyla was so generous to save a few cases of some of the wine you are completely getting off the shelf now, because you at the end like the Corderosa, right? The Corderosa Rosé. Now you are moving on to the new vintage. We're still on the 2022, one of the members' favorites. So we're featuring the Corderosa. Which was the first year of your new label, Richard. So we are big fan. This is an absolute beauty. Which kind of blend do we have in there, Rich?
So predominantly, 70% approximately Pinot Noir, and the remaining Merlot.
Yeah, Merlot Pinot, yeah.
So about 48 hours on the skins. And then we press it and start the primary fermentation. So yeah, it's a it's not a Sangay, and we've had yes, few of those left. Maybe, I don't know. It's those have disappeared fairly quickly.
And yeah, this wine goes also into the box. I mean, that was one of your innovation that you've done earlier this year, and you said, why not? No one, and that's why I was so supportive when we had that chat about it. I said, go for it, because there's no premium wine in the box. No one has offered that top premium juice who goes in a $30 bottle to go in the box. So, Richard, tell us about the bladder, because that was one of the concern of people. It's like, okay, if the wine can stay in that in the bladder for, let's say, in our estimation is at least easy 60 days, absolutely no problem to go 2 months. I know we tested it. So
what's you open it? You mean?
Hey?
After you open it, you mean?
Yeah, after you open it. After you open it. So what's the component of the bladder? What makes this this product that goes no problem?
Well, I mean the biggest problem when you open a bottle of wine, any bottle of wine, is the ingress of oxygen. And so at bottling, a small amount of nitrogen is put in there to displace any oxygen that may be in the top of the wine. And so the wine will start in a bottle in a virtually oxygen-free situation. There is an OTR, we call it oxygen transfer rate, between the cork and the wine, or even a screw cap. That does happen over time. But in a bladder situation, because of when you let it out, there's no way of air getting back into it. And so the thing is, as the wine comes out of the bladder, it collapses on itself. So you're never having that ingress of air into the wine. And that is one of the biggest advantages. The bladders that we're using from here, for example, are produced in actually in Ontario. Smurfit, I believe it is. These are fantastic vessels for wine. And I mean, for those that are inclined, carbon footprint, glass. I mean, a lot of the glass I buy is either coming from Europe or is coming sometimes from California or from Asia. There's a large, there's a bit of a footprint with glass, and there's a lot goes into making a glass bottle, like a lot of.
Yeah.
But they all packaging inherently have their evils. Unfortunately, you can't carry it in the palm of your hand, so or everybody's got a deer skin running around doing old school style. So I'm not pro either one. I think I like just convenience, and I think the challenge was set by several wine writers, Gismondi, and I think it was what's his name from there in Ontario. They were kind of egging me on to saying, well, why don't you guys do it in a box? And I was like, well, why don't I do it in a box? So, but it's very niche-y. I think there's still, years and decades of perception that product style is not suitable for conveying premiumization or premiumization, I guess, what do you call it? So, and I'm not saying I want to die on that hill either. It's just a cool thing to offer to those that want to see it and, to check it out. So yeah, I think there's pluses and minuses to both packaging types. Some of our clients, like one of the biggest things I found was clients of ours that go skiing, go on vacation. They're like, they take the box, take the bladder out, put it in their luggage in between, a couple of towels. It doesn't rupture in plane, by the way. I'm sure my lawyer is going to ask me to put a caveat. I don't know what plane you're in, so it may rupture on your plane. So don't blame me if it does rupture your luggage. But anyway,
something sharp that like punctures.
Yeah. We've had people that say, "Oh, we go to this resort in Mexico and they have nothing but rubbish wine, and we love your wine, so take it down so they have something good for for a couple of days while they're there, or people who go into skiing and they just don't want to carry bottles of wine and package it in luggage. It's such a convenient, or on a boat, or golfing or something, right? So there's a plus, but they don't want to drink shit wine.
That's it. You don't want to drink plonk. And now when you put some top-notch juice in there, that's where it's very attractive. Absolutely.
But there is a lot of challenges inherent in that, and I'm very well aware of that. And we'll keep picking away at it and to see how it goes, and we'll keep going from there. So.
Yeah, and so we have that. We have the 3 boxes actually. There's still a little bit of red, so the basically the tinto, the tinto and the bianco. So the red, the white, and the rosé. The 3 boxes are available, and also with the rosé in bottle, we have the wine that was featured at the Pan Canadian Masterclass at Esther Creek in Oliver in June. So there's the 2022 Fumé Blanc, which is one of our super favorite 92 plus point Carl's Wine Club. This wine is from the vineyard right behind the winery, right, Richard? The Hidden Hollow Vineyard. It's absolutely priming right now at the moment, and that's why we choose it previously to be part of the Pan Canadian, because you and me were really thinking that wine it's hitting its prime.
Yeah, and unfortunately for you guys, I'm trying actually the new vintage that's going to be bottled in a couple of weeks.
There you go. So we're having a preview here of the 23 vintage.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit more lush. I think it is. It's just more. Right now, it's easy. Someone there's drinking Fumé right now. So this one has a bit more weight. Still got that lemon lime minerality, kind of earthy character that people like about it. And but yeah, I think it's it's going to be eventually that wine is going to become a wine club exclusive. I can see that happening in the next year or so.
Okay, so Fumé is going to the wine club. It makes sense. It makes a ton of sense. I mean, this is what
I only have 3/4 of an acre of it, so it's like not even like including with my place. So I have maybe a little over an acre, 1.1 acres of it. So to me, we don't have any plans for further expansion into planting more Sauvignon Blanc. And so we're just going to close those doors to wine club exclusive on it, and over time. So probably in the next year, this wine will become wine club exclusive, and some of Carl's Wine Club guys will have some access to that as well from time to time. So, but we're definitely going to move that way, because we just don't have any plans to plant further Sauvignon Blanc. So
talking about planting more of the grape varietals, we also have the Chenin Blanc, the 2022. That was the one that we featured at the Pan Canadian first edition back in Niagara over a year ago with Marcel and our first Pan Canadian crew. Now, is it the same time? I think you may have planned to plant a little bit more Chenin. Is it correct?
So we're bottling some more Chenin Blanc for sure. The 23 is going into bottle. We have planted a bunch more of it. So we pulled out our Riesling on the winery site. We had a bit of Riesling here. We still have the CBR with Riesling down the road, but we've decided to really start doing a bit more into this Chenin Blanc. So we're really, really excited about. But that's going to be. This hurts thinking about it. It's going to be like 2 or 3 years before that's.
Oh no! Hey, can I show you guys something? So last year, October 31st, 2022. That's when we took this. This is your Chenin Blanc. I think 22. I think it's the one we have here that you rated 93 points, Carl?
Yep, 93 points is one of the highest rated wine outside of the Legato series.
Picked on Saturday.
Smell that. 48 hours.
48 hours ago?
Hey, I was a little bit bigger there.
The skin,
yeah.
The skin into the pit.
Oh my God,
Wow,
that's so nice.
Well, there's a certain florality in there.
So we're gonna be converting a bunch of this here, the Riesling, out to more Duncan.
So that's the
see, I was talking
Shenandoah.
about the
That's
converting
the
the
wine
Riesling
club
right
members
there.
picked that, right? On Saturday? Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's like seaweed, but
It's peach with a straight line of acid in the middle.
cool, eh?
Oh, that's cool. Oh, this, again, this is pure. Super pure. There's
Yeah.
a purity of fruit in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, that's good.
All that little press.
Wow. That one over there.
1968.
1968.
It's paid like them. It's paid for.
Only anything got that. So. See you guys. That's funny. That press is still there, even when that water and it didn't move. So.
Oh, really?
That press is a legend now. It's
Yeah, it survived a lot. Right.
and the photo that I shared, Carl. I don't know if you have the one that I sent you just before we went live. I don't know if you guys have access to it with the back deck. It shows that press prominently. It's the only thing left back there. There are a couple tanks on the one hand side there, but yeah, I mean, we're.
Carl might have it on his phone. I don't have it right here, but I
There's
can
the one right after that I sent him. There was another one.
shoot, I didn't get that one. We'll post it. We'll put it on a post.
It's on my Facebook page there if you want to grab it.
Perfect.
But anyway, so the yeah, you can see that press right in the center of the photo, so it's still there.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
That's awesome. There
She's
you go.
still at it. So well,
I'll
yeah,
just cook them all.
guys, I mean, we're really, you know, we're obviously still apprehensive about what's going to happen with our coverage and business loss, but we're really kind of just a bit of weight off our shoulder with opening tomorrow. We're opening tomorrow 11 o'clock. The kitchen opens on Friday, and so that we'll be back in room. We have already some people doing some reservations. I would a couple of interesting stories though. We had people. It's very interesting. You know, we're all in the people business. You know, even though we're selling wine. And we had this one lady coming by 3-4 times, literally irate that we weren't open yet. She wanted to come in. She'd try this white wine. Wanted the damn white wine. Why weren't we open? And we're like, we weren't even supposed to be open at all. I'm just kind of like, what the? And just the funniest responses from people. Like people just like really like angry that we're like not open, and we're like, dude, we just about lost our building. Like I'm like, what's going on?
Wow.
Others were disappointed because their trip is their one time to come up here. So I feel really bad for some of those people. And but you know what though, we we're so we're just so amazed at people that are just coming by and wishing us, and we had a friend of ours take out for some dinner the other day.
It's your lawyer calling.
Oh yeah, if you have to go, we're good.
The father-in-law.
Oh, now this one you have to take.
But anyway, guys, I want to say thank you so much for supporting me and all of your members across the country. My wife and I were really looking forward to spending some time with you guys out in Niagara. And I want to shout out to Clausen, Keith over at Chase Clausen. He just reached out to me on a text saying, giving me well wishes. And Keith, you're awesome too. So thanks, Keith, for reaching out to us. Love what you're doing out there. But I want to see all the legends out there, like guys like Batchelder and all these guys would have been an epic road trip for sure. But
Richard, you came with us because we brought a bottle of Legado Chardonnay with us, and we stayed with all of the members, and when we cracked it, and you guys became the conversation of the night, talking about what happened, but how amazing the wines are. And everyone was like, when are you going to feature back to them? Because we want to support. So now, You guys have been part of our journey as well, and we're grateful for your generosity to be there and sharing the story with us. Rich, thank you so much for joining us. I greatly appreciate you and Twyla.
Cheers, and have a great weekend, and hope to see you here. Cheers, everyone.
Yes, if you're local, go check it out. And the restaurant opens Friday too, which is like our favorite restaurant. Jeanette had a good comment. September 21st, members are descending on the Okanagan to visit our Winery of the Year, Riverstone, this year. But I think it would only make sense to revisit our Winery of the Year from last year, the Silva. So hopefully we can stop by with a group that weekend as well. That would be great.
Just reach out anytime, guys. Thank you so much, and thank you to all your guests for
so
comments on there. Sending you guys all our love from Twyla and I, and cheers, guys.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks, Amelia, and thanks for the great wines. Thank you.
Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Woohoo!
Wow. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., the winery is reopening. What a feast. What I mean, like, wow, I'm blown away to like having the community to just like rally behind Richard and Twyla and helping and bringing all of the help so they can reopen as fast as possible. 3 weeks, and now they're going back on their feet tomorrow, hosting Canadian wine lovers once again. So congrats, amazing.
Yeah, happy to see that. That's fantastic. Oh, well, hey, should we do a quick blind tasting? I got 3 wines for you.
Absolutely. So that's becoming one of the fun part that we're doing. That's where Carl looks stupid on a weekly basis. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. A little bit of a blind taste.
You don't even have to guess stuff. We just want to know your impressions of the wine without knowing anything about it.
Let's recap why we're doing that, because often sometimes the label can be a little bit, how do we say, the preconceived notion of how we know who produced the wine and everything. And sometimes I'm always scared that my score and my opinion will be skewed. And I always try to keep myself in check. Every day that I taste wine, I take that very, very seriously. As you know, Mira, to never be skewed by the label. If it's good, it's good. If it's needs work, it needs work. And if it's below 88 point, we don't talk about it. We're not in the business of being in the way of hardworking people, even if a wine is not necessarily what we're expecting. So to take all of that preconceived notion of the label and the producer, Mira's putting every week now 3 wines in front of me where I try to find, for the fun part, to find out, to discover, to call what's in the glass, which grape varietal, from where it is, maybe which vintage it is, who produced it. But first and foremost, my appreciation for that wine. Completely blind. I have absolutely no clue. The only thing that I know, it's from our home, around our 500 bottles that we have home. I know what we have at home. I know every bottle of wine who comes in. So knowing that can be anything among 500 bottles. So that's the only thing I know. So here you go. Let's go with the first white.
What's this in your glass?
It's a little Chardonnay.
Yep, you got
to
the
my
Chardonnay part.
to my opinion, this is a little Chardonnay nose. This is definitely not a classic Ontario 20-mile bench or Jordan bench or Niagara on the Lake. I mean, like, we just get back from there. This is not that wild ferment, creamy, lemon pie type of nose. There's a little bit more of a neutral floral approach to it, but on the nose, I haven't tasted, but it's a little bit Chardonnay. So let's try it. You can find a bit of a barrel in there, toasty. There's some toastiness in this. The acid are not sky high, so I would maybe think that it's not a recent vintage, maybe more of an entry-level price. I would say, to me, it's a Chardonnay, which is not from Ontario, probably $25 price point, which I enjoy. It's not in its prime anymore, probably, but it's a 89 point as we speak. That's my, but nice finish, though. I like the finish. Right?
To say, you guys, like, this is one of Carl's superpowers with the price points. Yeah, you said around $25. It's $24.99.
Oh, okay.
Plus tax. It's a BC wine. You're right. It wasn't from Ontario. And do you want to know where it's from? Fort Barons. So this is like northern.
Yeah, this is Lillooet. Lillooet Chardonnay. Yeah, 89 plus. Just on the verge of. You know what? I like the finish. The finish lingers. 2022 vintage.
Yep.
Okay.
If you've scored it already, let's see if you're scored.
Yeah, I was a little off here on the vintage. Yeah, not sky high acid. The barrel are a little dominant, but yeah, I mean, I really like what I like it to that wine is the back end complexity, pretty complex, past mid palate, and really long lingering finish. So at $25, I mean, this is a solid wine. I would go 89 plus to 90 points in that area. Yeah, and definitely at $24.95, it's well priced. This wine makes its price point. It offers value. Definitely, this is not. It's not a wine that you're down on. Like when you get that, it's something that I will probably look to buy one more time.
Nice, nice. And no, you have not rated this particular one. We had a 2022 Fort Barons White Gold Chardonnay Reserve in our pack a while back.
Yeah.
And that was a $40 wine that you gave 92 points to. So this is a new one for us. So that's exciting. Great. Great job, Carl Boucher. Great job.
There you go. Oh, I called that one right. So I'm happy about that.
You want to go for these two?
Line number 2. So 2 very different color here. Number 3, it's much darker, much more opaque, a little bit more reddish on the number 2. I have, but both have a similar nose though. But not similar. I would say it's kind of to me, I feel kind of the same grape varietal. If it wasn't
now for almost an hour, I have to say the nose was completely different an hour ago. So these two need some breathing.
Okay. I smell Cap Franc here.
Which one?
Okay. Right?
Which one?
No, that's where I don't want to be. I don't want to look stupid. I would say in the middle one, in the number 2.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you'd be right if you said it for both.
Well, that's what I said because I said I smelled the same grape varietal in both glass.
Yeah.
Just the second. So the
and number 2, you're correct.
So wine number 2 is a Cap. It smells like Cap Franc. Wine glass number 3 also smell like Cap Franc, but the color it's much darker. So that's where I need to have a little bit more of a thought about it. I haven't tasted yet, so that might be a blend where it's dominant Cap Franc. I don't know, but yeah, definitely Cap Franc on the nose. There's no doubt about that. That's the first thing who came up to mind. A little bit more green pepper, a little bit more Parisine on the number 2. So I will go with the cooler vintage. I will attempt to say Ontario from a cooler vintage. Red pepper jelly, soft tannin, really pretty grippy, satisfying. If I get 20, again, to me, this is a $25 wine. If it's 25, it's 89 point. That's what I have here. Ontario,
Okay.
colder vintage, $25, 89 points. That's my.
Yeah, and you're bang on, and it's pretty cool because I know you've never researched these wines. No, number two for moi. Yeah, Cap Franc is not your favorite, is it, Daryl?
Well, especially when the Parisine comes up for Daryl. Kev Daryl is a no Parisine, but he likes to travel the Loire Valley, so that's another conversation. So tell me more about wine number two, Mira.
Wine number two here, I'll show you right away. So you said around $25, and then it's 89 points for you.
Yeah, 89 points. It's intriguing. It's interesting. I mean, by any mean, it's well priced. It's worth $25 when you taste it. But yeah.
Yeah, and guess what? You are bang on. It's $24.95, including tax this time. And,
so it's Ontario?
It is Ontario.
Ah, there you go.
Yves Cab Franc 2021, which I think you're right, is a cooler vintage. And it's available at Mary Nissen through the Collab Wine and Beverage. So this is like a group of winemakers making wine at Mary Nissen Estates, sort of smaller virtual winemakers, they call them. So I don't know the exact story of Yves, but clearly great value.
Yeah, good value. I wouldn't go all the way to see great value. I would see good value. Where it meets its price point. Like you give me a 25 in my glass, I feel the 25. There's a small, there's a light white pepper lingering at the end that I'm totally on board with. So yeah, not disappointing.
Cool.
But also, yeah.
You got that one. You want to know
what for the other one? Now we're talking something more serious, though. On the nose, I can say it's more expensive. It's much darker. It's much more serious. There's much more depth. There's much more ripeness. So if and it still smells Cap Franc. So Cap Franc dominant here, but there might be a blend into that. If there's a blend, I can see Merlot in there. Whoa. I can see Merlot, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I was smelling earlier the Merlot from Riverstone, and I get a kind of a connection in between the two. So,
fixed your Merlot problem.
I mean, I got fucked over a few times about Merlot the last couple of weeks, so I'm keeping my eye open here. Excuse my language. My apologize for new listener who are not used to these bad words. But let's get to the palate.
Okay, number 3 has red pepper chocolate. Daryl's asking. We'll find out.
Mm-hmm. This is a really good wine. Finesse. It's not powerful. It's not overpowerful. It's finesse and elegance. There's great length. Lingering finish, white pepper. Chocolate, I would say more mocha, Daryl. Red pepper, it's more on the red pepper jelly. There's a nice, really nice length. So Cap Franc Merlot, maybe more on the $35, maybe more, $35. This is at least a 91 points, maybe 91 plus. But this is just like top of. Yeah, I like everything about that wine.
And it's funny because when it was popping for about an hour and a half ago, I didn't like it on my first sip. So it's a testament to you've got to let the wine breathe. We let this one breathe for an hour and a half now, and it is really starting to come out.
It's more of a 92, baby, and more, maybe more of a 92.
Well, this is crazy. Are you? Yeah. Okay. I can see it. Like it's really starting to.
It's coming up. It's coming up. I like the complexity. It's not a bomb. It's not power. It's really elegant and it's slanty. So.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, please.
All right. So summarized, you've said, wow, fantastic. Somewhere between 91 and 92.
Yeah, Cab Merlot.
And maybe a Cab Merlot blend. And
yeah.
Price point did you say you'd be happy with?
35.
Okay. You ready for this?
Yeah.
It is from Niagara Teaching College and Winery. It's the 2019 Tom Thompson Red, who was a famous artist in Canadian history, and I guess they've named this wine after him. It is Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, and Merlot. So you were right on the Merlot, you were right on the Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, right? And it's a 2019. But look at that price point.
$24.75.
Including tax.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. Yes. So that
this is fantastic. I mean, this is tremendous value wine. I love that. I love that exercise.
Yeah. So now we found a sleeper. We found one that, if you're around Niagara College, if you want to order some wine from them, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Well, because let's recap. It was one of it was our first stop coming off the plane on Thursday morning. We stopped at Niagara College, and that's funny because we have their wines for over 3 months right now. They sent us a box of wine long ago, so that's why I didn't thought of Niagara College at all. And what can be my glass tonight, but that was our first stop. And what a great meeting we have with these guys. They're super innovative. They really want to get their wines. There you go. And if we look tired, excuse us. We flew overnight. There was the flight delay. We got there. We had to rush to wine country from Pearson International, but we made it there. And at that point, I still smiling. I didn't have lunch yet. I was destroying every donut possible in front of me.
This is Niagara College, by the way. They have a vineyard and winery on site, food truck, everything. So it's pretty cool. And I mean, of course, our next stop had to be 13th Street to pick up butter tarts and taste.
I just got 24 butter tart. I had 24, and the lady in front of me, she said, "Do you have a corporate account with us?" That was the first question when I got to the till. She said, "Do you have a corporate account with us?" I said, "No,
like,
this is
for
no, this is for me for the next 3 nights." So yeah. But
what I wanted to say about Niagara College is we asked them, well, how many alumni do you have? And they said 700 or 800 alumni. And so they did a bit of a study, and they found that there's not one Niagara winery that doesn't have a Niagara College alumni somehow involved with that winery. So it's pretty cool. And they make a lot of wine, a lot of which, like what we just discovered here, this 2019 Tom Thompson 100th anniversary red, really great value and great quality too. So very cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. And Mira, I have to say, I'm just checking my phone, who keeps going and ping, ping, and ping, ping. I don't think I've never seen that many orders during a live show. So,
wow.
Yeah, it is really touching right now, like to see people supporting the Silva offer. I mean, I'm so happy to see that. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So,
Awesome.
Thanks everyone. But yeah, so back to our trip. Yeah, so this was our second stop where we got to the 213th Street, and something cool we had there. It's a very unique, white Cabernet Sauvignon. With our lunch. So it was pretty, yeah, white Cab Sauv, which was interesting to not say the least. I mean, is it the greatest wine ever produced on the face of planet Earth? Maybe not. Really zingy, acidic, but with food, this wine it's pretty interesting. And white Cab Sauv doesn't really happen quite often. They made like 200 cases. It was just a little project that they had.
60 cases, I thought. I think it was only 60 cases. It was just a tiny experiment, I think.
No, so they went through 140 cases at the very big, like during the summer, and they just pull out the last 60 cases to finish the season.
Okay.
I mean, this is a big hub. Like 13th Street moves a lot of wine. We're talking about maybe, I don't know, 25,000 cases production. But yeah, 60 cases, like 200 and something cases. It's something that they go through fairly often, fairly quick. But yeah, it was interesting, I have to say. So it was a fun stop. It was great to meet. It was great to meet Bella, the new DTC manager, corporate sales. So yeah, it was fun.
Really awesome.
What did you take? What was your take on 13th Street stop? Did you had something favorite or something who stood out to you?
Awesome. I mean, we had the three mains on their new menu. It was new that day. Like literally, we were the first people to try it.
Yeah.
And they have this burrata salad that is outrageously awesome. And also a Korean chicken barbecue burger and a pulled pork burger. Really good. I mean, all I have to say is if you're in Niagara and you don't stop by 13th Street, you're missing out. There's an art gallery on site you can visit. There's the food on the patio. They have some phenomenal wines at all price points, like starting at like $15 all the way up to their high-end wines. All of them are well made. Great bubblies. And
I think that Jean-Pierre Collin is known as one of the best bubbly winemaker traditional method in Canada. I mean, like to me, why I got hooked on 13th Street is for the quality of their bubbly and also their outstanding value offer, value proposition for the entry level wine. So yeah, but everything in between is also very good. Sorry, I cut you off here, Mira.
Oh, no, it's okay. Johan is saying, nice guitar. Thank you. Thank you. That was my son that did a little interlude a minute ago. They're all trying to learn guitar. But yeah, let's do a quick recap of Niagara. If you were there, oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was great to see you. And if you weren't there, September 21st, BC, Riverstone Estate Winery in Oliver, BC. Visit us for that. It's going to be also epic. We have a Merlot from Riverstone open tonight that is drinking so beautifully.
Oh my God, I got you last night. You got so excited. I mean, like Mira tastes a lot of wine and sometimes she gets excited, but she doesn't get super excited often. And last night that Merlot really got her excited. With the flank steak, it was really amazing.
It reminded me a little bit of the Milestone, which is a 96-point wine that we fell in love with. Anyway,
I don't go as high, but I sent you my tasting notes this morning because I finalized the tasting notes before 6 a.m. this morning. I sent it to you for review. But yeah, I mean, geez, this is fantastic Merlot, 2020 vintage. This wine is probably going to be poor at the tasting as well. We're going to do a progressive tasting throughout the property, but also we're going to do a VIP reception before the walkthrough with library wine served and explained by Ted Kane, the owner winemaker. So
yeah, September 21st. So if you're in BC, and
don't miss out. We have 20 tickets sold. Maybe there's 20 more left. Join us. It's going to be epic.
Yeah,
epic.
Great. All right. So our next stop in Niagara, right when we got off the the red eye flight after we did lunch at 13th Street, after we did Niagara College. We stopped at Bella Terra, of course.
Of course, we stop at Bella Terra. We always stop at Bella Terra on our first day, right? We have to.
Yep. And of course, without prompting, without notice, without anything, we just we dove right in. We got some tank samples. There's Fred DeProfio, the winemaker there, very talented. There's Marcel Morgenstern.
My man. Man, hey, like we also had a little tractor ride among the vines, because guess what? We haven't seen grapes on the vines here so far this year, or very little, and we were so excited to see these big bunches.
His friend how we got Cedric.
Yeah, so you can see the beautiful bunches of
Cabernet Franc right
wine
here.
there. Great. Yeah, and we're out in the tractor to see that. So thank you to Marcel for giving us our first glimpse of grapes since last summer, because very few in the Okanagan this year. After that, we stopped at Southbrook Vineyards, where we've never been. Very cool, very sustainable and organic, biodynamic focus for this winery. We tried some Chardonnays.
Oh my God, that Laundry Vineyard Chardonnay was pretty darn good.
Spectacular. We had
I bought a bottle, but we drank it. I think we really followed the normal Canadian average of cellaring with this bottle. It was literally 30 minutes, because it was our last stop of the day. We bought the bottle, we drove home, and we opened the bottle. So literally, that was the average Canadian cellaring wine.
It was delicious. But we also tasted, and for me, this was my first time tasting a lot of orange wine. I've tasted some, like a few here and there, but Southbrook, if you want to discover orange wine, they make several different ones, and it's very interesting. I think that Whimsy one on the far left, that's the kind of entry point for orange wine if you've never really had it.
Babe, no, Mira, you're backward. The entry level is the Triumph. Triumph is, the Whimsy. It's the extended macerated and barrel aged.
Yes.
So the Whimsy is it's the what the fuck is that type of wine, but in the right sense. I mean, if you're a geek, it's geek to the next level. Triumph looks geek, but it's more because it's unfiltered. So it's cloudy. It's a little, it can be intimidating, but it's really cool. I really enjoyed the drum. But sorry, I'll let you go with you were talking about.
In a nutshell, though, what is orange wine, Carl?
Orange wine. It's a white grape. It was made like a red wine. So full bunches pressed, but also juice on the skins for an extended period of time. So these are white grapes made like red wines. That's basically what it is. So we have here, but it was really interesting. It was really, Bill Riddlemeyer is a very interesting fellow. I mean, former farmer, very entrepreneur, and started Southbrook in early 1990, I believe, and made that place a place to stop if you're in Niagara on the Lake. It's really cool. Full 100% biodynamic. They were the first led. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. They're first, one of the first LEED certified after Stratus, which we'll talk about in a second. This was cool. I just wanted to mention it. So they get windy there. It gets windy. Bill built these little wooden boards. And they stick the wine glasses under so the wine doesn't flop over in the wind. How brilliant. I just thought I'd mention it, because if you got a windy patio at home, I mean, that might be something to do. It's such a smart idea. There's Bill there in the background with that Chardonnay.
With my bottle of Chardonnay last 30 minutes. Yeah.
And then what happened next? I mean, we had a great time that evening with those of members that were sharing a VRBO with us and had some nice wines. And then the next day, boom, we're on the bus. We're on the bus to go see Thomas Batchelder, the man, the myth, the legend, and taste wines in his vineyards that he makes wines from. So there's the bus.
Yeah. So
There's
yeah.
the first stop.
So we did 4 stops, one in Niagara on the lake. So Byland Estate is owned by Jackson By, who owns Bayzou Vineyard, which is one of the very best source of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and the Chardonnay and Gamay in Niagara on the lake, which backed up to Bellaterra Vineyard. So the idea was to see the difference of the vineyard that Thomas sources his grapes from, and Jackson. This is one of the best, if the best standard vineyard that I have ever seen in my entire life. This is so, it's like yeah, just getting out of the hairdresser, man. This vineyard is absolutely incredible. So that was our first stop. Thomas brought with him the infamous map, the Niagara map. We had, so yeah, that was our first stop. And I mean, we tasted the 21 Chardonnay, the 22 Gamay, no, the 21 Gamay. And yeah, this is our group picture. We were supposed to do group pictures at each and every vineyard, but then I think things went sideways, and that's the only one we had. But what an incredible day. Incredible, fantastic. We walked the vines. Thomas was so generous with his knowledge, passion, details. And it's incredible how this guy doesn't bring the light on himself. It's always about the other people around. That's what stood out to me after, because I know Thomas fairly well. We had multiple tasting, visited the Bat Cave many times, but with that full day spent with him, it was what came out the most. And what I really realized, when Thomas talked, it's not about him. It's always about other people. So it's incredible. So after Bayzou in Niagara on the lake, we drove on the bench, and
we went to Wismer Foxcroft, where we tasted wines at the Wismer Foxcroft vineyard. That was really special. Living the map. That's what we were doing, living the map. But I think the pinnacle of that whole day in the vineyards and tasting wine, tailgating essentially in the vineyards with Thomas Batchelder, it was this spot here where we had the Hank Vineyard, the Wismer. So
we were in Wismer Park. So Wismer Park and Wild West Hand is from the same vineyard. Wild West Hand is it's the west end of Wismer Park. So he makes a single vineyard a single block, all of that. And right across the little dirt road, it's the Hang Vineyard. So you have a triangle where the 3 parcels of land are 10 meters apart. Oh, wow. You must have a better picture than me of me, Mira. Thank you. So these parcels are 10 meters apart. It's incredible. And these 3 wines, we were, look, okay. So that's the truck. And so behind, like in front of you, what you see, it's Wismer Park. On the right, it's Wild West Hand. And behind me, like the dirt road is literally 3 meters wide. Behind me, it's Hank. And the 3 wines were tasted side by side in the vineyard, and the difference of these 3 Pinot Noirs were absolutely incredible. When you see the pinnacle of the experience, Mira, you are 100%.
I totally agree. We're just back on the bus in this image here, but that was it. That was so interesting. Pinot Noir made by the same winemaker. I think they were the same vintage. Hey, 2021. And 3 different vineyards, 10 meters apart, but they all tasted so different. Hank was like, Thomas called it the ballerina, right? Very
Yeah.
smooth. There's Wild West
Smooth.
End that has personality.
Elegant. Well, so the ballerina Hank was smooth and elegant and complex and lighter on its feet. And yeah, that's a description of a ballerina. Wild West Hand was crazy. Like super wild, super fruity, expressive, which was my favorite. I know that your favorite was the Hank, and also the Wismar Park was earthy, a little bit more Burgundian style. I mean, oh my God, all 10 meters apart, not 100 meters, but 10 meters apart, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And then our last stop after that, I mean, we had lunch. Obviously, we had lunch at Cherry Lane, which was awesome. And then we stopped at the Saunders Vineyard, where they farm organically. And look how different this vineyard looks. I mean, from our first vineyard, where it's like perfectly manicured, all the grapes are at the bottom. This one has a bit of disease pressure. It's got a very different kind of look to it, right? More sparse.
Well,
and yet the wines from there are phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's farm biodynamic, right? So there's it's completely, it's crazy. The difference is just astonishing how different it is. But at the end of the day, the wines are tremendous. So that means that doesn't matter how well manicured your wine is. It's all about the philosophy of how you make the wines at the end of the day. And it was very, very cool. And
so many different like ways of thinking about the wine and ways of going about it, both on this day and the next day, which we'll get to in a quick second. But yeah, we ended up at the Bat Cave, the legendary mythic Bat Cave, the Batchelder Bat Cave, where Thomas has all his barrels arranged from east to west, just like the vineyards are. And we tasted some back vintages. We went through his barrel rooms.
But because we were short on time, and thanks God, because he kept opening wines and opening more. So I mean, the highlight of the Bat Cave to me was the 2018 Wismar Foxcroft Parsenal. I mean, Thomas know my love for Foxcroft Parsenal. And I mean, holy moly, he opened a 2018. And that, oh, by the way, back one picture. The previous picture, this picture is going on the t-shirt. Okay? That picture, no. This one. Yes. That's going on a t-shirt. We're going to have world-class Canadian wines. I was there, or like the Batchelder Tour, something. We're going to make a t-shirt out of it.
Very fun. So if you're on the tour, you might want that for the next time we go touring. But also next week, we are featuring Batchelder. So that can be available even if you weren't on the tour. If you just think this guy is legendary like we do, and you want to try his wine, you could probably throw on a t-shirt. So yeah, we tasted some back vintages at the Bat Cave. People were able to buy wines while we were there. This is really cool. If you're ever at a restaurant and they have Batchelder on the menu, they're probably going to have this wine. It's called Mineralité Chardonnay, and it's only available at restaurants. You can't get this Batchelder wine anywhere else. It's only available at restaurants. Fantastic value. That's why it's at restaurants, because the price point, like we were looking at a menu, I think you can get this wine for $45 at a restaurant.
Yeah, this is, I mean, we tasted it. Thomas gave us a bottle. We brought it back to the Airbnb that we're sharing with members, and we had it after the day. And oh my God, this wine is absolutely stunning for a ridiculous, crazy cheap price. So yeah, I mean, affordable
so when you're
price.
At a restaurant, you know, $45 wines, usually that's not a very premium wine on a restaurant menu. This one is. So if you ever see a Batchelder on a restaurant menu, go for it. And that was our touring day with Thomas Batchelder. Next day,
which Mira was, I have to say, I know, like, it's been crazy. It's been an hour and a half over, but I've been in the wine business for over 25 years, closing on 30 years soon. I traveled the world I had some incredible experience in Italy, in France, and so on in California. Last Saturday with Thomas and you, and our members, was the most special day of my career.
Oh, wow.
Plain and simple. It was the most special day of my wine career. I will never forget that moment. I will never forget every second of it is engraved in my memory. It was absolutely perfect. I want to say thank you to you for all the work that you've put on. I want to say thank you to Thomas and Mary. And I want to say thank you to all of our members who joined us that day, who share a very, very, very special day.
Yeah, it was very, 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 very special. Totally agree. Totally agree. It was amazing. So thank you guys. The next day we went to 4 wineries,
because that's what we do, right? That's what we do.
Which, sometimes you go on tours and they're like, oh, for $250, we'll drive you to 6 wineries. And I'm like, that is not the same kind of tour. There's no way in hell we could ever fit 6 Carl's.
No. And 4 was the very, very max that we can do. Yeah, and we experienced the challenge of 4. I mean, 4, it's almost impossible. Carl's Wine Club way, 4 wineries is almost impossible. It's pushing. Yeah. It's really pushing.
Yeah, but we were at Stratus, first LEED certified winery in the world. Very sustainable the way they built it. It's all gravity led, like there's no pumps anywhere, and they are really getting into amphoras. So we learned all about how each of those amphora shapes, the way they're made, like everything influences the wine quite a bit, and it's very interesting. We learned all about their barrel program, and then what was cool is we actually tasted wines, Chardonnay made in amphora versus barrel, versus tank.
And we did the same with Cap Franc. We tasted their sparkling. We also tasted their Stratus White and Stratus Red. So, I mean, this is my buddy Dean Stoikos, the winemaker there at Stratus, and what an incredible guy. I freaking love that guy. He had an amazing presentation for us, great tour. So that was a fun. It was a great start of a day. I mean, everything was perfect at Stratus. I can't compare this. My highlight at Stratus, I have to say, in terms of wine, it was the 2021 unfiltered Chardonnay. So the one was aged in barreled, unfiltered, on lease for 18 months. So that was my favorite, my personal favorite. There was all other great wines, but that wine was my favorite. While I say during the Bachelor Day, my very favorite one was the 2018 Wismer Foxcroft Chardonnay. Our stop at Stratus, the 2021 Chardonnay unfiltered. So that was my favorite.
Yeah, I loved the amphora wines. Like, I have to say, it brings such complexity and creaminess and roundness. It's beautiful. And after hearing Dean talk more about how that works with all these different sizes of and styles of amphoras, it's very interesting. I think there's so much there to discover with these different vessels and how it changes the way your wine tastes. Just like every barrel can change, right? But you get such purity of the fruits and such roundness with those amphoras. It's really interesting. So big thanks to Stratus for that tasting. It was awesome. We went to Ferox next because we were all starving at this point. There's Cubby Sadoun, who is the winemaker at Ferox, and he gave us the most amazing intro to all these wines we tasted.
I mean, there was a shitload of wine there as well. Like, I mean, it never stopped. We had to skip a few because we were behind schedule.
4, 5, 6, 7 Rieslings, and that 94 point Merlot, 95 point Merlot.
95 points Merlot, yeah. So that was that. Plus we did barrel like visit of the production facility. The lunch was top notch. And Cubby, I have to say thanks, Cubby. He blew my mind with his knowledge, but also his candid, how just natural the guy is. just like a good dude, right? So it was really, really cool to spend time with him. I knew him from previous connection we had, but that, like, I mean, I'm really impressed with what he's done. So the highlight of my visit at Fair Oaks was the 2021 Riesling. The 2021 Riesling was absolutely spectacular. Holy shit, that it was good. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Daryl's saying, hearing you say that trip was the highlight of your career gave me goosebumps. All you've seen and done for that trip to hit your heart like that is freaking awesome. I totally agree.
Dylan, I mean, my man, it was really special. I hope next year for the Pan Canadian, you can join us. It'll be great to share these moments with you as well. But yeah, Daryl says the Stratus, the top capsule of 2020. He really liked it. I think his wife bought him a Christmas gift that day. So yeah,
it's been your early Christmas gift there. Informative, entertaining. Yeah, definitely. And that Carl and Mira, it was mainly Carl. Like, this is Carl's genius to come up with these plans for us and pull it all together, curating that experience for us. So next stop, we stopped at Big Head, a big favorite of many members because they're unapologetic about their wines, ahead of our time. They joke they have a big head because they're Polish, and Polish people apparently, the joke is that they have big heads, but also they really like to say it the way they think. They have a lot of amphoras there too. You can see all these clay vessels.
Concrete as well. Yeah, these are concrete. These ones, Mira, the big square one are concrete. The amphoras are the little round, egg-shaped one. So yeah, so Jacob Lipinski, yeah, which is the son of Andrei Lipinski, owner, assistant winemaker with his dad. Great presentation there. We were focusing on blind taste. Big Head makes wine in different ways, and it was really cool. We had a good time. We tasted 8 to 10 wines. I think the highlight of my tasting there is two. The Chenin Blanc, not the raw Chenin, but the regular Chenin Blanc, was very, very, very good. So wine number 3 to me was my favorite of the first flight, and the second flight was my Cap Franc that I thought it was Cap Franc, but it was a Merlot. And I was joking with my friend Daryl. Daryl and I were joking because Daryl was sitting beside me, and we both thought it was Cap Franc, and it was our favorite wine. I mean, the Syrah was great too, but I had a thing for that wine, and when he did the reveal and it was a Merlot, we're like, holy fuck, okay. And it makes sense because it's Daryl's favorite grape varietal. So we had a good chuckle about that. All to say that tasting blinds often takes a lot of preconceived notion, all of it. So it was an interesting stop. I didn't have a chance to have it by the pizza, but the pizza looked really, really good too.
Yeah. Daryl's saying, yeah, the pizza was another highlight for sure. Like, they have an amazing pizza oven now outside the winery. It's quite their new location is quite impressive. There's
it is. It is
there
really
are lots
impressive.
of people doing the tastings, and it was great. Now here we are. Next stop, we're at Bellaterra. And we didn't do a typical tasting at Bellaterra. Look at those bottles. They don't have labels on them, right?
Just tape. Yeah. So because we had 2 very packed days, very serious, almost collegiate, almost like it was a lot of learning. It was a lot on schedule, and I designed the trip in a way that I knew we were finishing with Bellaterra, and we wanted something a little bit looser, something a little bit more fun, which would not be too much focus on listening. And no, what we've done, we did some blending. So Fred poured 5 wines out of the tank, and we made our own blend. And midway through the thing, I pulled Fred and Marcel Morgenstern away, and I said, "Guys, let's become the judges." And we judged all of the wine, and we scored all of them. That I kept the sheet. I have the sheet here, and we awarded a winner. So it was a real fun.
It was Tracy. I didn't have a picture of her, but she's in the back on the right in the black outfit. That's Tracy. She won. So you guys sent her home with a bottle of her own blend, right?
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun, and
that was a lot of fun. Fred was so generous of his time. So, I mean, just perfect. We had a lot of fun. That's Tracy here in black. So she really wanted to beat her husband and Daryl. There was a big rivalry there, and she won. And I said I didn't put my blend in the contest. To my opinion, it was by far the best. But anyway. No. Fred said I was not even close to be so anyway. So this is all the damage. Yeah.
This was the damage done. 37 bottles that we opened after the day of touring with members that were able to stop by the house we had rented there with some members. So that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, a couple of vertical of Strewn, vertical of Hidden Bench, some Batchelder, some 2027. There was some wine from BC who was brought in as well. Rennie Estate. And I have to say the Christine 19 was one of my highlights that night. Really good. The Westcott, obviously the Chardonnay. The Westcott Chardonnay Reserve 19 was really good. The minerality from Thomas Batchelder Chardonnay. But the Bolero, Fred brought a bottle of his Bolero, and he absolutely rocked the house with that Bolero. Everyone were like, what the fuck is that bottle with no label? It is so good. So I'm telling you guys, if people think sometimes that I rate wine for sales or something, you're out for lunch. I mean, this 95 points Bolero deserve every single point of it. Every time we
you had a Freudian slip. I think you gave it 94 points, but
94. Okay, I should have given 95, I guess.
It's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. And secret tip. Some of our members who were there, they said, "Oh, we missed the feature a couple weeks ago." There was a crazy pre-release price on that Bolero. It's coming out in a few weeks. So for people that kind of bought it in the pre-release, they saved $20 a bottle, 45 instead of 65, including tax. Anyway, the point is, the tip is, if you missed that and you wanted to get a couple bottles, it's not too late.
Send me an email. Send Mira or I an email, and we'll manage to massage Fred and to get him.
Anyway, we have been live almost 2 hours. We're gonna let you guys go. Enjoy your Wine Wednesday. We stopped by Leaning Post on the Sunday just to pick up some bottles for the One Drop fundraiser that's happening in Toronto, coming up pretty soon. Hey, Carl, we might send a note to everyone about that.
Yeah, pretty soon. It's happening September 14 or September 18, something like that, pretty soon.
And this is not a dinner that you go to, because it's not a dinner. It's a charity event. So you donate $5,000 a person, and you get to hang out and have this incredible dinner with back vintages of Chateau Lafite, what kind of stuff? Crazy.
Yeah. Some of the most famous wine. The Domaine de la DRC is for that night. And guess what? There's one Canadian winery involved, and it's Elia Senchuk and Leaning Post. They're featuring their Chardonnay in that incredible event. And Ilya was waiting for us to make a final decision which Chardonnay is going to feature during that event, and we helped him make a decision, which was pretty cool. We spent a good 2 hours geeking out on some Leaning Post wines. Tasting is soon to be released, 2019 traditional method Blanc de Blanc, which is freaking good. Also, we tasted a bunch of his shards, obviously. We tasted some Grimsby Hillside, some of his pet nat, which was fun. And this is a little gift that Nadia gave to Mira. Some pretty cool ideas that she had lately. So she made some Somali salts here. It's really cool.
Yeah, so it's just like salt you put into your salt grinder that has Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Cab Franc skins in it from their vineyard, which is really fun. So Magic Weekend, I totally agree, Jojo. It was amazing. I mean, just recapping it, like, holy smokes, that was a lot to pack into 2 or 3 days. But we did it, and it was amazing.
It was sure really amazing. And if you want to feel that kind of thrill, that kind of event, well, join us for September 21st at Riverstone. We're going to do a BC version of what just happened in Niagara. So reach out, go on our website. We have some ticket left. Join us. And thanks for listening tonight. Thanks for being part of my incredible blind tasting session that I did very well today. Very happy.
Very well. Great job.
Thanks for listening. And we just forgot. We just had Richard De Silva for an hour talking emotion, talking real shit, real life shit, and it was really cool. Yeah. So this show will probably go in.
Open up. I mean, after this, it looks like this. They've done an incredible amount of work the last 8-9 days to get that cleaned up. So if you're in the Okanagan, stop by De Silva. They're reopening tomorrow. And if you're not, you can order their wines and we will personally pack it up and send it to you very soon here. So, yeah.
There you go. Well, that's awesome. Mira, thank you so much for an amazing show, to putting all of these beautiful pictures together. Cheers. And all of you who've been listening to us for almost 2 hours now, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting what we do. And Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, see you next time.
Have a great night, guys.